Hi, I'm Dave, founder of Halloween Year Round, and today I'm reviewing 825 Forest Road, the latest Shudder original movie, written and directed by Stephen Cognetti. That's right, the same guy behind the masterful Hell House. I guess it's a quadrilogy now, because there's four of them, and I heard they're doing another one, so I guess that would make it a quintilogy or a franchise, but I digress. 825 Forest Road is his first conventional horror film in the sense that it's not found footage, it's not a fake documentary, which I'll get to. It's a movie that is probably my favorite Shudder movie of the year so far. I know we're only in April, but I have some things to say about it and some conflicts about it, which I'll get to. First and foremost, this is a movie that made me Google how many 825 Forest Roads are there. There's one in Vail, Colorado, LaGrange Park, Illinois, Peakhurst, Australia, New Haven, Connecticut, but no Malvern, Pennsylvania. You don't count, you're a forest lane, not a forest road. So with that out of the way, let's talk about 825 Forest Road.
It's real.
The first thing that intrigued me about this movie when I looked it up as I was turning it on is that it stars Brian Anthony Wilson, an extremely talented character actor who's been in like everything. He was also recently in a movie called Delco the Movie, which happened to be written and directed by my brother. I'll put a link in the description to all that. I met him at the premiere, super cool guy. So when I saw that, I texted him like, "Yo, look who's in this movie that I'm watching." I like this one better than the one he was in with my brother. And you can definitely tell my brother I said that because I tell him every day. But enough about sibling rivalry. Let's talk about haunted houses. We have this setup where this couple moves into a new home where tragedy has kind of recently befallen them. Chuck has recently lost his mother, so his younger sister, Isabel, is moving in with him and his wife, Maria, into this creepy little town where, if you're a fan of Hell House, you know exactly where this movie is going with that creepy ass mannequin. Since Maria is this like fashion influencer and she does live streams in her room, which we'll get to, and you know something's up. Right off the bat, it's split into different chapters where like each of the three main characters gets a chapter that's sort of their point of view into it, which was an interesting choice. Kind of pulp fictionizes it and makes it a bridge between Cognetti's previous work with Hell House, where it's just a straight up fake documentary, and a more conventional, straightforward storytelling. It does that, I think, really, really well. I kind of wish the fourth chapter, which like is the finale and the combination of the three previous chapters, I wish it was a bit longer and kind of did more because I felt like by the time we get to that fourth chapter where we've seen the same events from the three different perspectives, I'm like, ooh, now we're gonna get way more. Oh, the movie's over in like 10 minutes. Okay, that's it might not have actually been 10 minutes, but it felt like 10 minutes with pacing. So I kind of wish that had gone on a little longer. That being said, there's a lot this movie does that I genuinely love. If you've seen Hell House, you know what I'm talking about with that creepy clown. This movie is creepy. I have seen just about every horror movie maybe in existence. I like to say that. It's not true, but I've seen a lot. It takes a lot to phase me. And even though I've seen a ton of movies that do these same things, oh, creepy mannequins moving, oh, creepy thing in the background, it's the way it's shot and the way that it's styled that really gets to you and that I really, really was impressed with this movie. That same thing happens, but it left me with, and I'm going to keep this as spoiler free as I can, it left me with this weird conflict in my head where I was like, I wonder if this would have worked better in the Hell House, style as found footage. Technically, it wasn't found footage; it was a fake documentary. But would this have worked better as like someone's doing a documentary about this creepy haunted town and the, shall we say, spirit that haunts it? Because it's a genuinely interesting story, and I think that's where Hell House really, really thrived. Was it was a cool backstory held together with genuine scares and suspense. And that's very much what 825 Forest Road does. I just think when you're shooting it conventionally, it kind of lost that grit and realism to it. Whereas, and again, I say this as someone that Found footage is my least favorite subgenre of horror. I usually hate it, but I loved Hell House, and I see that as like one of the few exceptions. Like, no, this one's really good. I almost wonder if that style would have served this story better. If this same story was told using that, would it have been even creepier? I'm not saying that this movie's bad in any way, shape, or form. It's great. It's a solid 7 out of 10. But I wonder if it had done that other style, maybe it would have been a 9. So it's really good, it's not perfect. It's not amazing. It's not, and I know maybe it's nitpicky to say, but that kind of just goes to show you how much I enjoyed this movie and how much I was engulfed, not just with the story, but with the creepy parts, with the scares. And I think my point is made. Again, gonna keep this spoiler free. One of the creepier scenes in the movie is when our character Maria is doing a live stream and we kind of briefly go into that like faux documentary, almost found footage style, that it's from the perspective of her live stream and we see some stuff happening in the background. That was the scariest part of the movie because it had that realism. And that's why I kind of can't get it out of my head. I think this movie would have been creepier had it done that, but the fact that it didn't doesn't take too much away from me. Like I said, it is still my favorite Shudder original movie of the year so far. It's the one to beat when I do my top 10 at the end of the year. Unless like there's a lot more amazing stuff later, I'm betting you're going to see this movie on it. But hey, these are just my thoughts. This is just my rant. This is just my review. This is just my channel. Get your own. Like, share, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. If you don't, you may end up moving into a super creepy haunted house that has weird mannequins and weird town histories that I mean they all do. And as always, every day is Halloween.